I have been so down before and out that I have been on welfare. And I was not drug tested to receive my food stamp benefits or any other benefits that were being offered to me and my 2 children. My neighbors, some of them, were in the same boat I was, but others, sadly, were not. I have lived in a variety of neighborhoods and areas where people were also on food stamps and other assistance programs, and they would trade their food stamps for alcohol, drugs, cigarettes, didn't matter, and I've known several who didn't. I can't find any statistics or proof on either side of the fence. The thing I do believe personally is, though, that it would not have bothered me. It still would not bother me if I was in the same position still today. I think it's only appropriate. If I'm not working and I have to have assistance and help, you, the taxpayers, or myself as a taxpayer, has the right to say, hey, are you even qualified? Because if I have to pass a drug test or you have to pass a drug test to get a job and be employed so that you can make sure that people that are on assistance have that benefit coming to them, I think that it's only fair that the recipient should also have to prove that they can pass the same exact test, that that's what they're doing, that they're not on drugs and trading, they're not an alcoholic and trading for other alcoholic beverages, or that they're trading for cigarettes or anything else that they shouldn't be doing. I think it's appropriate that they should be drug tested because it's not a violation of privacy. There is nothing private about that, and there's nothing not private about that at the same time. You go in, you take a drug test. Most of the people, I think, that are concerned about it, other than the ones who are guilty of being on drugs, I think are not afraid so much as whether or not they're going to be denied based on a positive test. I think they're more worried about the fact being that for the ones that are disabled or on psychiatric medications or heart medications or any other kind of medication that can make a huge difference in whether or not you have a positive urine analysis. I think that's what scares them, is that they'll be denied based off of their health problems. But I assure you, as somebody who used to manage a drug testing center and do these tests every single day, yes, they can be expensive. They run up anywhere from $45 to $70+. These, when they're sent off, they're run through. When they come up with a positive, they're run through a second time. If they come up positive again, you can ask for them to be sent to a completely different facility in a whole other state and have them run again. But most of the time, if they come up positive the first time, they run it through and they break it down piece by piece by piece. And they can generally tell you exactly what medication it is that you're on and exclude it. And they'll call you and contact you to ask you about these things to make sure that they're not going to say, oh, you're on drugs, blah, 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 and then turn around and tell you don't qualify for food stamp assistance or medical assistance or any other kind of welfare assistance. So the good news is you are covered there. The same process for one of the instant dip sticks. The little sticks that they dip into the urine cup, hence dipstick, those come back positive sometimes, and those are a false positive as well. Sometimes they're legitimate positive. Those can be sent off for a small additional fee of about $15 to $20, and you can sit there and go through the same process. They're going to run an analysis and they're going to break it down, and they'll be able to determine if it's due to a medication or not. So those things you don't really need to worry about if that's your concern. However, there are still plenty out there who are concerned because they legitimately are committing felonies by trading for drugs and other things they should not be doing. And yes, many of them are on pot and other inappropriate drugs themselves. So yeah, they should have to take a urinary analysis. My concerns on whether or not that this is the best choice. The only part that makes it a downside is the cost. These people are already asking for welfare assistance, so whether they qualify for a legitimate reason on the fact that their urinary analysis might be medication related, or it might have just been a dud, versus they're really on drugs and probably shouldn't be getting anything, remains that it's costly. If they can't afford to get the groceries, then how are they supposed to be able to justify spending $15+ $70+ to have a urinary analysis run? Because that's got to come out of somebody's pocket. And when we have millions of people on help assistance programs like this, where does that money come from? How do we offset that? Because that's going to be the problem, and those are the things that I'm trying to see where it is that that can be accommodated. Are there going to be any programs available? Is that going to be a government assistance? Is that going to be something where if they're paying for it, do they have the ability to be reimbursed somehow for that cost? Because that's money that could go to purchasing that child's diapers, or maybe some clothing for this small child if there's children in the home, or maybe that's their medication money for the month and they need to be able to make their copay to get their medications. These are things that need to be considered with all of that. But ultimately, in the end, I do agree and absolutely think that anybody who's receiving assistance for welfare should have to pass a drug test, because the people who are providing the funds for this program in order to help these welfare recipients, they have to pass a drug test in order to ensure that they can eat. So yeah, it's only fair that they're not discriminating anywhere. What's good for one is good for all. Everybody should have to pass the test. But know the safeties that are in place for those who might have a positive UA based on a legitimate, bona fide reason, such as medications.